Hello, this is Alpha Ministry, and we're blowing it up on MetalgodZradiO. Metal God!
Hey, everybody, this is the Mighty Z of MetalgodZradiO. We have Al Jourgensen on the phone with us today. Al Jourgensen from Ministry, among many others. Is that right?
I've got a few other things. I do, yeah.
But today we're here to talk about Ministry. Now, Ministry started in 1981 in Chicago. You spent a lot of your life there as well as other places. Is that right?
Yeah, like most people. People migrate. Start somewhere, end up somewhere else.
Of all the places that you live, do you have a favorite?
Probably where I'm at right now because I'm still alive.
And so the climate here is a little more moderate than what you grew up with in Chicago. Is that right?
Yes, it is, but I was born in Cuba, which is also pretty moderate, except for the hurricanes. And, I've lived all over the world, so this is great. I love it here. How's that?
That sounds great. And you left Chicago, you left Cuba when you were still an infant, is that right?
Yes, sir, about 2 years old.
And do you still have ties over there? Did you get excited when you saw the protesting going on?
No, I have no ties, but I'm excited that people are finally rising up against corrupt governments. It doesn't matter if it's communist or democratic democracies or fascism or anything. As long as it's corrupt, you need to rise up.
And that, in fact, is the problem with everything. It's not really the system, a system that's the problem. It's always corruption that's the problem, right?
All systems look great on paper. If you look at the Communist Manifesto written by Marx, it provides for all the people in a time that they were in a drought, or not a drought, but a famine and war and everything. And look, we will take care of everyone. It looks great on paper. But then the people running it run it into the ground. They find loopholes on how to get around and call themselves. There's no difference between democracy, communism, socialism, fascism, anything. It's all the same. It depends on who's running it.
I have 3 years sobriety this month. Yay to me. And you've had a little more time than that. How hard was it? Is it? I love it myself. I know some real sickos in there.
No, I didn't catch the word sobriety. Yeah, I mean, getting off drugs, that's why I'm talking to you. There's no way. And I've been clean for 17 years. So, yeah, I wouldn't be here. And I can't believe I didn't join the 26-27 club or whatever that they have for like the Kurt Cobains and Amy Winehouses of the world and all that. I was right there with them, but somehow I managed to stick around, and I'm glad I did. Do you go to AA and do you have your chips and all that stuff?
You know what? I was in recovery before. I had 8 years, and I was an active participant in that. But I have not been an active participant in this time around. I don't have an issue with it, but have you been an active participant in that in the past, and are you now?
It absolutely fails for me. I just it absolutely doesn't work. It's either you want to do it or you don't. And so all the peer pressure and everything in the world, or meetings and all that stuff, for me, it doesn't work. I know it works for other people, so I applaud, the whole AA movement and all that stuff. But for me, it's just like, look, where do you want to go? You have to finally decide by yourself and be true to that belief. So that's where it was with me. I bottomed out, and I came back.
I mean, some of us, like myself, needed that help. And, and I'm, whether I'm stronger or weaker for it, it doesn't really matter. What the most important thing was that I don't do it anymore, and here I am talking to you.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. It didn't work for me, although, I made it work for me. without going, but other people that need to go. It's worth doing to be able to be yourself.
Costco samples are back. Infections are up. Now is as good as any time for ministry to return.
Yeah, we seem to be like a band that only comes around when plague hits, like Trump or coronavirus or back in the day, Bush, the Iraq wars, the Afghanistan war. We seem to be around for all the calamities and follies of human nature and human society, don't we? We seem to be hovering around there commenting on it, but it's okay. I mean, if that's my job, that's my job.
Speaking of Trump, how cool is it to see him whining like a bitch out on tour? And how cool is it to see an old dude and a black chick in the White House?
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I don't know if it's cool to see an old white dude and a black chick in the White House or to see like this senile old grifter, corrupt carnival barker, part of the Third Reich, being shamed now. It doesn't matter. There's still corruption within the system that makes this system so ridiculous that we can't even get, an agreement on even to have a commission to study what happened on January 6th, which was the worst invasion of our capital since 1812. And we can't even get 6 people to agree on that. So the corruption and the people that are behind the spokespeople, I call them, which they're not congressmen or senators. They're just spokespeople for their overlords, the people that pay them dark money, and they can go out there and do whatever they want, and we make no progress as a human species or a society or as a nation. So I'm not real happy. I'm happier than I was. Let me put it this way. I can go to sleep at night without, thinking about relapsing when Trump was president, just to get to sleep. But nowadays I can sleep at night and not have to freak out. So yeah, I guess that's good, but is it really good? It's just like they're like baby steps and band-aids. That's all we got going in government right now.
Has there ever been anybody that you looked up to for moral leadership? Has there ever been a politician that made you hopeful? Or anybody for that matter?
Oh, you know what? That's an interesting question. Let me ask me some other questions and let me think about that, because that is the first time anyone's asked me that question, and I'm intrigued by that question. But I just need a minute. I'm not going to answer it now. Give me your next question, and then by the end of this interview, I will blurt out my candidate for somebody that actually gave me hope of something that's going on, because there are a lot of people but it's just a matter of, once again, within the constricts of like the system and the regimes in place, like I could say Navalny right now in Russia, but I don't know if he's the one. I could say a million people that give me hope that people are activated and willing to make a better life for future generations and for themselves, without, succumbing to this systemic pressure of being like an ant and working for the overlords, for Amazon without, peeing in a bottle and this and that. I don't know. That's a difficult question, man. And I can't really pinpoint one person that's inspired me. Of course there's the answers like, Gandhi and Martin Luther King and, even Malcolm X and this and that. But wow, it's just I don't think there is one person. I think what would really get my attention is if an entire generation started going, enough is enough.
Did you get a chance to watch the video on Twitter of the Megadeth dude spanking the monkey?
No, I don't go for that. And frankly, okay. That's his business, man. I mean, right. I know Dave quite well, and what his jerk-off patterns are should be none of our business, man. I mean, and is he is he hurting anyone by doing that? I mean, the girl wasn't underage, willing participant. Even so, like, what what is this? Like, like nowadays, like, okay, I'm glad that they, I guess, caught a priest being on Grindr. But like, is that really the way to go? Is just start outing people for their internet activity? Is that where we really want to go? It seems fun now, but I think it's a slippery slope. And frankly, I know Dave as a person, and I think he's a spot on guy. And if that's his sexual preference, fine. Who am I to fucking say anything? Or you know what I'm saying?
Roy Mayorga is back on drums, and Monty Pittman is back on guitar. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That is correct. This is going to be a really good lineup this fall if enough people get vaccinated to where we can have a tour. Yeah, this is going to be a really great lineup. We have Paul D'Amour of Tool on bass, Roy Mayorga on drums, Monty Pittman on guitar, longtime member Cesar Soto, and long-time member John Bechtel of keyboards, and whatever I do. And I think we have a good tour lined up. We just really need to get vaccinated or have mandates in place that you can go to mass gatherings and not be a super spreader. I think this is important because otherwise there's going to be not only our tour canceled, but, every tour canceled. So, and listen, I distrust governments as much as anybody else, but I don't distrust science, okay? And the science on this is out. If you've read the science on the actual, RNA version of the vaccine, this is revolutionary. This is good stuff. I don't remember, I'm old enough to remember when we were supposed to get, polio and measles vaccines, or we were not allowed in school. And everyone thought that was a good idea and went there was no squawking about it. Nowadays, because of political pressure and dark money groups, everything's a government conspiracy and all this. And if your DNA chip and all that, your DNA chip if you have an iPhone. So just everyone relax about that. And all this stuff, it just didn't used to be like this. It's just, and that is because dark money and a few people, I don't know who they are. They're definitely not even the politicians, because the politicians take their orders from the people that give them money. So I know you probably wanted a lighter interview, but this is what I have to say. I'm sorry.
The album Moral Hygiene drops in October, a nuclear blast, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's 9 originals and a cover of a Iggy classic.
Yes, sir. So you haven't heard the record yet?
I heard the song. I think it's the lyric video, Good Trouble.
Oh, the Good Trouble video, was that with the Arabian Prince from NWA, or the one where they made me edit it out? In other words, is there a black person in the video, or is there not on the one that you saw?
Oh, I didn't. There's a lot of flashing images. It's a lyric video. Is the one that I saw that came out a few weeks ago. Good Trouble.
Okay, well then, yeah, that one they made me splice down to edit the speech that I had from a member, an original member of NWA, reading the John Lewis speech. We released it on John Lewis's death day on July 17th, and so I guess you haven't seen that one. You probably just saw the lyric video. But at any rate, yeah, we're very politically active, and that's what we do.
I used to cover, in the band that I was in, I used to cover Sid Vicious's version of that song. It's a great song. I love that song. Thanks for covering it.
Of which song?
Of Sid Vicious, I guess. Sid Vicious does a slightly different version of Search and Destroy. And like I said,
I've never heard it. And the thing is I'm friends with Iggy, so the first person I sent it to on Search and Destroy with Iggy, and he just said, like, this is badass, man. So we took it from there. At any rate, yeah. No, I've never heard Sid Vicious's Sorry, but like our version, I'm sure, is heavily different.
So the album drops on the 1st, and of course it will most likely be pirated weeks before. And the tour begins on the 3rd with a few sellouts already. That must be nice to know. Well,
we'll see if it even happens. You know, people got to get vaccines, man, or the clubs have to make it like show a vaccine passport. I hate to say it. I know it's a horrible thing, and a lot of people are going to jump down my throat about it. But I'm telling you, if you want to see live concerts and you want life to return to what you think is a fine normal, then you got to get vaccinated, man. Because otherwise it ain't going to happen. None of these shows planned are going to happen if this stuff doesn't start happening. And this is coming from a person who has distrusted governments his entire life. But I don't distrust science. That's the key difference. It's a 40-year anniversary of, I believe it's Mine is a Terrible Thing to Taste. How much of that album can we expect to hear on this tour? 5 to 6 songs off that album, and a few more songs that were recorded during the making of Mine is a Terrible Thing to Taste, which wound up as Palehead and 1,000 Homo DJs. All these things were during the same recording session. So we're actually like reliving with the entire Fence tour and the whole thing, and reliving all the stuff that was recorded during that year. Very cool. And was Helmet added as part of the anniversary of touring with them in 1989? No, we toured with Helmet in, I believe, 1993. It was us, Helmet, and Sepultura. Oh, so then I have my decade wrong. My bad. Yeah, I think it was like 93. That was a great tour. That tour is still being talked about. And I imagine that this will too, if all goes well. Just get vaccinated so we can have a show. Well, Al, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Do you have any other final thoughts you might like to share with anybody listening to this? Just the usual. Just when you're at the show, buy our T-shirts and represent. Metal, God!